because that's what California is named after.
Yeah.
Right? Now, remember, you got two cities of the sun. You got LA and Miami.
Okay.
Two sunshine states, California and Florida.
Yeah.
Right? Both of them got a Hollywood.
Yeah.
Both of them have a Disney World.
Yeah, that's right. Both of them grow oranges in the spot. Tropical fruit.
Oranges, grapefruits, lemons, and limes. Right? So now everything that was going on in Florida is going on in California. That's what they telling us.
Yeah.
Business as usual. The dumb niggas ain't gonna figure it out. Ain't none of them gonna figure out that while they was all leaving to go fight the war in the Gullah Wars, the Geechee Wars, the Gullah Geechee Wars, while we was all fighting them in Florida, they was clocking which clans was leaving they dwellings vacant. Remember, I told you they turned Big Mama house into the big house on the plantation.
Having no allowance. I got some more picture. Here go a picture of one of the castles and how it was built too.
Those are called longhouse style. Those are barracks, and we used to build like that. We didn't live far away from lions, tigers, and bears. Well, not necessarily lions, but yeah, mountain lions.
Bears, cool. Yeah, mountain lions.
But the mountain lions, the tigers, the bear, not the tigers, the bears, the wolverines, all that shit ran the land. We didn't interfere with them, so we built shit like this to keep them out.
Yeah, this right here, this definitely takes you. It looks similar to the how Mansa Musa was laying his stuff out. Hold on, I got a couple more. Hey, we got about 23 minutes. We got to start taking questions in about 5 more minutes. So get your questions together for the brother. Let me see. Okay, let's go back. We can go up here. These are some time I found that were turned into prisons. And these are all in America. All these castles in America. It's a shitload of castles in America, man. And they telling you this shit.
Man, I keep singing this song till I'm blue in the face. That we was royalty over here. We believed in the adornments of nature was more beautiful than the adornments of man. We didn't wear crowns. We wore feathers.
You know another thing too. Then Martin Lawrence, when he fit in that movie Black Knights, then he go back into medieval times in America, not in the overseas, because he was in America when he went through that thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's totally possible.
Yeah, and he was in the castles, and they was talking about, and they was calling him more up in that damn tape too.
Yeah, he was getting on his nerve too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he said, "Oh, you keep on calling me a Moor." Like, yeah, you sure right. He kept on saying, "Yeah, you're right." Oh shit, I'm about to go back and watch that again, man. I'm about to go. Oh shit. He just started some shit, right? So I'm gonna go back and watch that again. He was getting irritated about it.
So when I tell the people that we had castles on the land, they turned our castles into prison. Just like they turned Big Mama house from orphanage into a goddamn plantation.
Hey, go ahead.
So the Lewis and Clark expedition is what declared the land vacant.
Okay.
Now, using the salvage law, they can exercise a squatter's right, and then they can start dividing the land up in what they call the Northwest Territory.
Man, that's crazy. So let me put this together in my head so far to sum here what we're talking about. All right, so we built these castles. We were living in these castles, royalty. When the war started, when they was trying to steal our people land, we went to go help them on the east, like Noble Drew Ali was pointing, saying that they came from the left side. We went to the left to go help these people, and when we left, they came and squatted on our property, on our castles, and said, "Oh, they left them."
Right. They said, "There, look, this is how it sounds. Something like this. There's no royalty here. All of the castles are vacant."
What? Go ahead, man.
All right. Now that they declare the castles vacant, who's going to exercise the jurisdiction over their salvage claim?
That's right.
Right? The salvage claim falls under Uniform Commercial Code as a business transaction, And the Uniform Commercial Code ties you right back into the Papal Bulls.
Yeah.
The Sanctum Bull, pull it up. Let's go.
Sanctum Bull, I got you. I got you. The Sanctum.
It's Unum, U-N,
Okay,
U-M.
okay, Unum. Okay, U-N.
U-M. New word, S-A.
I got you.
N-C-T-U-M. And then go to all. Read what it say.
It says the Unctum Sanctum is a papyrus bull that was issued by Pope Boniface the 8th on 18 November 1302. It laid down dogmatics proposition on the unity of the Catholic Church, the necessities belonging to it for. Hold on, I gotta blow finish what it said right here. Where is it? For internal salvation, the position of the Pope as supreme head of the church, and the duties tending arising to submit to the Pope, to belong to the church, and thus to attain salvation. The Pope
first emphasized higher position of the spiritual in comparison with the secular order. The historian Brian Tierney calls it probably the most famous document on church and state in medieval Europe. The original document is lost, but versions of the text can be found in the register of Boniface VIII in the Vatican archives. The bull was the definitive statement of the late medieval theory of hierarchy, which is heredity, which is heredity rights, which argue for the temporal as well as spiritual supremacy of the Pope. Now, you see where it say temporal, right?
Yeah.
And then it say as well as spiritual supremacy. The word temporal, click on it.
Okay.
Because they got it highlighted for a reason. The temporal power of the Holy See designates the political and secular influence of the Holy See, the leading of a state by the Pope and Catholic Church as distinguished from its spiritual or pastoral activity. So this is the claiming to you separate from the religion, right? So yeah, that's called a 3-tier crown.
Yeah, you broke that down. You broke that down. It's the same Pope. It's the same crown that the Ethiopian Christian Coptic niggas be wearing. And
that's where they got it from.
Yeah,
they stole it from them. So when they was telling us that they burned down the libraries of Alexandria, right? Who was supposed to do that?
Right, go ahead.
Ask Google, who burned down Alexandria? So this is the war between Rome rising to power, trying to put down the Greco-Egyptian collaboration to fight them back. Look, gay-ass Julius Caesar. You know his first name is Gaius, right?
Yeah, Gaius.
Yeah, I always call him gay-ass because that's how it sounds. All right, now, it's a pursuit of the property. No, it's in pursuit of Pompeii into Egypt in 48 BCE. Caesar, I can't read, it's too little.
The Caesar was cut off by the large fleet of Egyptian boats in the harbor of Alexandria. He ordered the boats to be burned. The fleet was destroyed, but the flames spread through the city and the library.
It just so happened to spread to the library.
Yeah, right.
Okay, now
doing shit like this.
If you pull up the book Unto Thee I Grant. Unto Thee, Thee.
Okay. The dude's name is
Unto Thee, UNTO, new word. Right there, the first one. Okay, economy of life. It don't matter which one you click on, they all the same. The one I got is the brown one though.
The right here, the first one.
Yeah.
All right, let me save it. You got the brown one like that one, or this brown one like this one?
It's actually the actual book is in the second row.
The Golden Trade of the Moors. Let me say that. We'll come back to that. Might have something to do with the shit you talking about.
Okay, in this book right here, it's a picture of a monk standing in front of a whole bunch of ancient scrolls in Tibet. And the guy that they get a credit for translating this, Ramathario, he went to get it from the Tibetan monks. The Unto Thee I Grant is in the Circle 7 in parts called Holy Instructions from the Prophet.
What? Go ahead.
All right. This was originally written, according to the introduction, by Amenhotep III in Egypt. And the scrolls were sent to Tibet to be kept by the monks for posterity. That's what it's saying in the introduction. Okay, now, the reference was for the picture of the monk in front of the scrolls. Right? I don't know if they show any of the inside of the book or if they're going to show that. But
no, they probably don't.
Look at, put photos between Grant and inside. There you go. See the old man right there at the bottom with the scroll in his hand?
Yeah, right there.
That's it right there.
They save him. Let me blow him up for you. And wait till I get that hard drive, because I'm gonna be able to organize all your classes. They're gonna be lit.
Read what it said at the bottom. Chief Lama.
Chief Lama, Abbott.
Or Abbott.
Abbott. I can't see this. Bakelin.
Holding ancient scroll inside Lamazri of Tibet frontier.
Yeah.
That's the ancient mystic order of the Rose and Cross right there. Okay, now look, you see the scrolls, how they keep them?
Yeah, right here.
Every major earth text that has a significant impact on culture is there. Every major earth some you don't even know exists.
What?
Now, this is what the Library of Alexandria was made like, similar to this. They didn't keep theirs like this. They kept double-rolled scrolls and palm leaf parchments, and that's what it was. All of these scrolls that they had duplicates made in Alexandria that they kept in Rome. So when they was burning down Alexandria, they already knew that they had secured the information for the youth in Rome safe and secure. So now they're safe to burn down Alexandria.
Makes sense.
So in one of the books I was reading on the ancient priesthood, pyramid priesthood, right? It said that the pyramid priests left with the scrolls by the dark of night.
Wow. I heard that before. Go ahead.
And then it said they went east. Well, we know if you in Egypt, in Cairo, or in Alexandria, and you go east, you're going toward Jerusalem.
Yep.
Right? Now, why would they go east on land to take it to the Pope in Rome?
Go ahead.
Because you can't go by boat because they're fighting on the water.
Yeah.
So you have to go east to go around the Mediterranean to get back to Rome on the other side.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right? So this is why they left with the scrolls going east, taking them to the Vatican. That's how we know where they went. Right? Because they didn't show up anywhere but Egypt. And the ones that went to Tibet left scrolls there. Now Tibet is southeast to Egypt, and to the north you have Rome, but it's separated by the Mediterranean. So you just said they was fighting and they was burning down the boats. Remember?
Yeah.
So that's supposed to cause the fire jumped across the water onto the land and burnt down the building. Make that shit make sense, Elder. How did water jump out the water? How did fire jump out the water and burn down the village?
Right. Right. That don't even make it. They don't even, unless they shooting unless the niggas had rockets or something back then. Oh, I'm gonna pull this picture right here because it shows that map you looking for. Right here. Damn. What the hell? There you go.
You see where it say Alexandria at?
Yeah.
Now that's the only way you can get there going east is you got to go around the landlocked.
Yeah, right here. Matter of fact, they had to go around the Black Sea really too. Go this way, like this.
Now remember, when Hannibal
right there.
Hannibal went through France into Italy, coming from Macedonia in that area. Right? And it was a nigga in the Senate that sold out Hannibal.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right? Hannibal needed more supplies. He had Rome defeated. And when he sent for more supplies, the senator was like, fuck him, let him find his way home.
Damn, it looked like a boot too right there.
Yeah, that's Italy. So now, when he left his stronghold to secure Rome, Rome had sent armies through Spain across the Pillars of Hercules to invade Carthage. Now Hannibal was scurrying back, coming around the other way, and then he got some soldiers catching ships across the Mediterranean in order to get back to the homeland because they was under siege by Rome. Right? And that's what caused Carthage to fall to Rome. That nigga looked like us, but he ain't us, and sold us out.
Yeah, sold us out, man. Get them niggas, right? So Sicily right here, you know African, Nubians was there, man.
Right. The thing about Sicily is when Hannibal's army was in France, Italy, all up in there, they was having babies with the villagers close by. So they was sending them all to Sicily to keep Hannibal's soldiers' children safe. That's why all of them are so heavily melanated in Sicily.
That's right.
Right? That's the offspring of Hannibal's people. Now remember, Egypt settled Europe starting from the island of Crete. You see the island of Crete right there in the middle, right there. That's the first school in Europe was built there for Europeans.
Well, go ahead.
All right. Now, from Tuscany, which is roughly where Rome is on the map, the Etruscans settled Tuscany, and the Tuscany or the Etruscans who lived in Tuscany became the progenitors of Rome. They took over from Alexander by taking and merging the Greece and Roman empires. Now, if you look, it says it's a Greco-Roman Empire. Greece is first, which most people would think that mean they won.
Yeah.
But they couldn't have won in Rome. So if he was born in 7 AD, he lived 33 years, right? That's 40 AD. Not until 325 did something form called the Nicaean Council. Now, the Nicaean Council was formed in Rome, right? So, who the fuck is Rome? Who is the Roman soldiers? keep this in mind when you ponder this story. Who the fuck is Rome? In the BC period, they had a conqueror in Greece by the name of Alexander. Now, the history books say that Alexander was chosen by God, right? And it was from Alexander's conquest of the Indus Valley did they establish a methodology for ruling, and the doctrine is called the Republic, right? So when you go study the Republic, in the history of the Republic, it was pontificated upon in the what they used to call it when they used to have a word. Before it was called debate, it was called rhetoric. So in the rhetoric, the rhetoric that was being tossed around on the Senate floors of Rome was called a republic. Now, they call this government over here a democratic republic. Republic means ruled by law. Democracy supposed to mean ruled by the people. A democratic republic is the people establish a law that governs the entirety of the land, right? So now, in Rome, they changed the gender of God. Well, right, what the fuck you mean in Rome? They changed the gender of God. Which God gender was switched? Why did they switch that one? And how can you show me? It's real simple. They tell us we in hell already, right? Hell is Helen. Helen settled Greece before the Etruscans settled Rome. I'm gonna let that sink in. The the Hellenists were Egyptians of the Aten priests, the same family and blood as Tut, right? Same family and blood as King Tut. All right, except in like 12 BC to 7 BC, somewhere up in there, you got this love affair and this queen named Cleopatra trying to hold on to the rulership rights of Egypt as Rome is advancing to conquer. So she got two dudes she's dealing with, Mark Antony, and she's dealing with I forgot that motherfucker name. Brutus. No, Caesar. Julius Caesar. One of them fucking Caesars, them gay ass motherfuckers. Anyway, so Cleopatra trying to hold on to the matriarchy. Right now, when Rome get the control of the deities, right? They change Helen. They change Helen from a female in Greece to a male in Rome. All you gotta do is put it side by side. Roman pantheon, Greek pantheon. The Greek culture is called Hellenistic culture. The Roman culture is called Greco-Roman culture. Because Rome conquered Greece, but they put Greece first in order to delude the minds of the people into believing that Greece conquered Rome. Why would they want to do that? All right, so now, we're just going to follow the narrative they're giving us. I'm just going over the story in broad strokes, because this shit detailed in a motherfucker. I'm using broad strokes. All right, now, 325, right? Subtract 40 from 325, you get 285 years since the so-called crucifixion took place. That's if he was born in 7 AD. Now, the true math is the key to unlock the Christ code, but that's not where we at right now. So in 325, they assembled the Nicaean Council. They got all of the leaders in one room, right? These leaders were mystics, priests, they call pagan ritual leaders, basically coven leaders, male and female. But the council erased any female that was in there. So you won't never know that it was women in the Nicaean Council unless you can remote view it. Now, in the Nicaean Council, they established something that they call the Nicaean Creed. Look that shit up. Now, this is in the 300s. The Etruscans is taking over, they establishing Rome in Europe. Once Rome is established, Europe go into what they call the Dark Ages. Now remember, they said that the Moors civilized Europe. They taught them art, science, music. They taught them philosophy, religion. They penned Latin as a language. Greek was penned by Egyptian priests. Latin was penned by Etruscan Moorish priests. Understand the difference. Okay, now, they got a scholarly language now in 725 or the 700s in the AD period. So we're talking 400 years of Catholic Church domination before they can get enough stronghold in Europe to bring them in mass. So the history books tell us the Moors, the Etruscans, went into Europe in the Dark Ages around 700, and they occupied Europe all the way up until 1611 when their final stronghold over Europe was broken. This is the story. This is the history they gave us. Now, in this story that they telling us, a couple of things is happening over this from the 700s to the 1600s. So we're talking almost 1,000 years, 900 and some years of occupation by the Moors, right? Why in the fuck did they get kicked out of Europe if they were civilizing these people? And where in the fuck did they go? And why did they go there? Right? Nobody not asking none of them questions. They just following the narrative that they gave us. Okay, so we're going to follow the narrative. In 1611, they finally got the stronghold broke. And they kicked them all out. Right? Why are they kicking these people out of Europe? What are they doing over there after you get done civilizing somebody? Now they so civilized, how did they kick them out? Right? Ask the question. How did they get the Moors kicked out of Europe? Spanish motherfucking Inquisition, the motherfucking, all of the rebellions to the crown in Europe caused them to put in what they call a fictitious royal family, a cat's paw, a figurehead, a face, a front. Where did these motherfuckers go? All of them didn't leave Europe. Many of them end up going into seclusion, right? In the Depression Mountains with all of the motherfucking gold. What the fuck is Depression Mountains? If you go back, there was an empire that was called Prussia in the north of Europe. The Prussian Empire is where you get your Khazarians, mulattoes, Moorish, European hybrid children from. Right? Now, you got to understand what's taking place all over the world at the time. At this time, Rome is fighting Huns, Rome is fighting Mongolians, and Rome is still fighting off the Babylonian empires. Like 30 motherfuckers. So now all this shit going on, they capturing POWs in warfare. From the Huns, from the Mongolians, and from the Hindus of Hindustan that wasn't India yet. Now, in the middle of this, in 1492, some motherfucker named Christopher Columbus supposed to discover America. I'm gonna let y'all marinate on that. Some European in 1492 named Christopher Columbus supposed to discover America. It's a problem with that. I'm just trying to let that sink in. In 1492, the Spanish crown sent somebody named Christopher Columbus to find an alternate trade route to Hindustan that wasn't called India yet. That sink in.
Because they tell us in the history books, in the textbooks in the school, that when Christopher Columbus came, he was looking for an alternate trade route, and he got lost and thought he was in India. That don't make no sense. It doesn't make sense. It makes zero amount of sense. First of all, Pietro del Negro is a Moorish navigator. And the navigators can tell you where you at in the middle of the ocean by the position of the stars without seeing no land. But they're telling us Columbus got lost. Not only are they telling us he got lost, they telling us that when he finally found land, he just struck up on some land. We know it today as Hispaniola was what they called it. When he landed there, he named it Hispaniola. Today is Dominica, Haiti. Okay. So now, Columbus got lost, is what they telling us, and he thought he was in India. How is this possible when India is not India yet? This in your textbook, in your school, that they teaching your children is bullshit. Columbus got lost. He got lost. And in the course of him getting lost, he thought he was in India and called the people Indians. But the problem is, India wasn't India yet. Can anybody see what I'm saying here? Columbus got lost, and he said he was in India, but India wasn't called India yet. What the fuck is these people talking about? This the story they gave us now. This the narrative. Now, he said when he got here, he met some copper-colored people. Now, that sink in. In his diaries, because they will print that shit out. They got the book. They got all of his log from when he, well, most of it is in there, but some of the shit they wanted to keep secret, they left it out. He thought he was in India, but India wasn't named India yet. But we were known as Indinka. We was known as Inca. But we weren't known as no India. They called us Indico, which became known as Indigo, as we refer to the children now as Indigo children. But it wasn't no fucking India. Where this nigga think he going? Are y'all not catching that part? Okay, let's go on with the narrative. So once he got over here, he went back to Europe, and he told Ferdinand and Isabella he discovered a new world. Okay, I got a person. Somebody want to come in. I'm gonna let him in and see what we got going on here.
Let the cream go. Go get a 2-piece sauce in that cocoa bean looking shit.
You ain't all the way clear yet. Wait. You ain't all the way clear yet. You got to clear up some more. Where your camera at? Turn your camera on. See, this is the bullshit they be on social media. So I'm gonna keep on talking, right? Yeah. Yeah, they dropped her out the call. Try to log back in if you're trying to get back in. Now they telling us, this is the story they want us to believe. Now you gotta remember, they can't fool us no more because we know the story. I'm going over it with y'all right now. Pietro del Negro, in order to be a navigator, right? The navigators of the day were the most highly educated non-priest class. But many of them were also priests. right? The navigators, the ones who know how to read the stars, map the stars to what's going on Earth, right? They were the highest form of education that was not a priest. And many of them were also priests. Now, catch 22, you starting to get it. He was sent by niggas. He wasn't sent by niggas. He was brought. Pietro del Negro is the name of the nigga that brought him over here. Right? His name is, it ain't hard. They call him Peter the Black in English. In Latin and Spanish, they call him Pietro del Negro. Right? Peter the Little Black. Sometimes they call him Pietro del Negrito. But no matter how you cut it, he was a black motherfucking skinned motherfucker named Peter. Right? So that's not a problem. But when Columbus get back to Europe, he reported to Isabella and Ferdinand, I discovered a whole new world. This is the beginning, right here, the beginning of the New World Order. Because watch what happened. Immediately upon returning and telling Isabella and Ferdinand of their discovery of the so-called New World, Isabella and Ferdinand told them, don't tell nobody until we get some flags all up and down that motherfucker. Right? But the word got out. When the word got out, something happened. Right? Something happened when the word got out. Y'all remember the history, what they told us? Oh, don't worry about it. We got this shit covered. So once they got over there and they start spreading the word about the New World, that Columbus and the nigga Peter the Negro, they discovered the New World. Now, first of all, let me stop right here. Let me tell you. So the history says that Christopher Colombo, or his name was Cristobal Colombo, was a what you call that? Sephardic Jew. Now, this became disturbing to me because we got three main classes of Jew in modern era. We got Ashkenazi, we got Sephardi, and we got Khazarian. And not one of these motherfuckers, not one, Ashkenazi, Sephardi, or Khazarian is one of the 12 children or tribes of Israel. Go look it up. Who the fuck is these motherfuckers? I already gave y'all the spoiler on the Khazarians. Right? Now they call the Ashkenazi and the Sephardi are known as the Spanish Jew and the French Jew in modern colloquial terminology. Both of them are Latin subcultures. French is a subculture language of Latin. Latin is the parent language of French, Spanish, Italian, and Dutch, and a couple more. Latin is the parent language. So the French, the Italians, and the Spaniards are connected by linguistics that was written by Etruscan Moors. All right, now that y'all get this part, when they all start coming over here, who came first? Who came first in mass? They were called Conquistadors. Break the word down and translate it. Conquest, Tudor. The Tudor royal family. Look them up. Google who are the Tudors. Tudor. It's an entire royal family. I see you. I see you, Simone. So they are these royal families, Tudors, right? These are a bigger family, an older family than what you call your Merovingians. Your Merovingians is a subset under the Tudors. All royal families from the gentry came by way of Tudors in Europe. So, the royal families became fractured when they got kicked out of Europe. Where the motherfuckers go? Okay, so now, what happened when they got over here? We know they came over here. So they tried to masquerade as the people of the land. Their philosophy and their thinking is this. If we can keep these people from ever realizing who they are and their blood ties to the land, we can just say we them. And we can say they came from somewhere else. And if we tell them they came from somewhere else long enough, they bound to believe it. So who's writing this story? Who's telling this motherfucking narrative for us to see it as if we came on a ship? Columbus came on a ship, right? The Mayflower, them was ships. But I can't find no slave ship. I ain't the only one been looking. Malachi York was looking for a slave ship. He couldn't find one either. Dane Calloway been looking for a slave ship. He can't find one. Nation of Islam been looking for a slave ship, and they can't find one. But we can find immigrant ships. We can find immigrant ships from Europe that also stopped in Africa because it's in their log. I didn't make the shit up. It's in their log. They wrote that shit. So we know they pathological liars. So do we believe them or do we don't? They wrote that we came on ships. My mama told me we ain't come on no fucking ships. She don't know what them people talking about. Well, who is these motherfuckers that came on the ship? Those are what you call your black people, BLAQ. It's a legal terminology and a legal classification of a subset of a group of people. And it ain't got nothing to do with their skin color. Right? They the same motherfuckers kicked these motherfuckers out of Europe. So if they kicked them out of Europe, why are they coming over here to the great melting pot? Right? And what's this one drop of blood doctrine? Right? You own it, Shatoya, Moors. But it's two kinds of Moors. Because the legalese was used to confuse the issue at hand. What the fuck you talking about, Rod? The legalese was used to confuse the issue. Okay. So in our culture and how we have developed in these here so-called United States of America, the legalese is the language lawyers talk. Medicalese is the language doctors talk. Colloquial language is the language commoners talk. And then you have what you call political jargon, which is the gentry. These four classifications of royal hierarchy. When you know the medicalese, the legalese, the gentralese, and the colloquial language, they can't trick you no more. Trickery out the door. Right? So now we got these motherfuckers telling us we ain't from here. They contracted with what we call Dawes Roll Indians. If your family traced back to the Dawes Roll, that means either two things. Either your family was inserted to steal a birthright, or your family was injected to remove a birthright. The Dawes Roll
my energy. I'm more of a dreamer or like a healer. I have a lot of dreams.
Yeah,
I don't
we
always know
call
how to,
them dream walkers.
huh?
In the native tradition, we call them dream walkers.
Yeah. And I'm learning more about my indigenous side. But from my mom line, we Blackfoot. On my dad's side, we have more Cherokee.
So look up that word. You'll find out your real tribal name by doing the etymology on Cherokee.
Yeah, cause no, and that's crazy. I was gonna tap into that. Like I've seen it like really correlates with Blackfoot.
Blackfoot was one of the tribes. They called them Blackfoot because they had walked barefooted and the sun had cooked their feet.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so they was called Blackfoot, but they was an original tribe. They a spinoff from the Choctaw and the Chickasaw.
Okay.
They fell up under the Iroquois confederations. The kindred tribes is called the Crow. I can't remember all of them right now, but they were all connected under the generic term Cherokee. Cherokee is a play on words, Cherry Key, which was the George Washington challenge. That's why that's what Noble Drew Ali discovered by infiltrating the Moorish Zionist temple.
Okay.
He brought us, that's why he put all of their secrets in the public domain. So now we can put the pieces to the puzzle together.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so that means I just gotta go do some deeper researching because I didn't really know that, but I've heard the two. I've seen the two, like the Blackfoot and Cherokee, kind of be more linked in together.
Yeah, those are from them. They were from the Mississippi Delta, going down from Jackson to Macomb in the middle part of Mississippi, and it's right up in there is where all of the tribes, the Mississippian tribes, diverged over into. We stopped off there from the west. We stopped off because that's where we got our marching orders for the Gullah Wars from Big Mama. Big Mama was in New Orleans at the time.
Okay.
Right. So all of the Big Mamas got together and was like, stop the bloodshed. The only way to stop the bloodshed was to challenge them to a conjure war. And we knew they couldn't win. But we didn't have the high chiefs on the land to end it sooner. And the ones who seen it, the lesser chiefs, weren't in the position to do anything about it without getting murdered.
Okay. Okay, that's some note to self to definitely go to keep that in mind when I'm doing, because I definitely want to. I've been doing a little more deeper research into just my native side now, or my indigenous side on both. I didn't even know. I actually just found out on my dad's side that we do have a form of, we have native blood in us, but I've always known from my mom's side.
Look, we is the native blood. The Mississippian tribes is the parent tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, when they talk about tying into the vine, they all talking about being married to one of the old Mississippians. So when all of the tribes come from foreign places, they bring, the women make the arrangements of who, okay, well, you rank this high on your clan, so then I mean you got to marry into the clan over there. That's why it's the great melding pot. The we darker on the East Coast than we are on the West Coast because we traded wives with Africans. We didn't just start mixing with them people, but that's why it was decided to say we was from Africa, because we had been trading with them for thousands of years, which included wives.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, so royal families, that's old news. If you don't know the way that the royal families operate, you'll never figure out why we look the way we look at different parts of the land. You won't never figure out why every goddamn culture from Nova Scotia in the north to the bottom of Venezuela to the Samoan and Tongan Islands to Hawaii all got a community in Florida. That's just why they came to fight the Gullah Wars. All of the islands, since You got a little Jamaica, a little Haiti, a little Grenada. All of those islands sent soldiers to fight the Gullah Wars. After the wars, they set up their communities and maintain their cultural identity to the islands that they came from.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy because this confirmation, my sister, one of my sisters, she's one of my she's a good friend, a good sister, and she's a little elder than me, but she's told me about that, and I really didn't know that much about it, but she did tell me about it. So it just kind of like confirmation on what she's been telling me. But okay. I did just have a question. And I just forgot about it. What was it? I did just have a question. I don't know. I just have to wait till it come back to me. But yeah.
Yeah. So somebody
And
asked
I'm
me,
grateful
came
to.
over here and traded with us. Study Mansa Musa. They came over here and they liked it so much they stayed. Right.
Okay.
The Mansa Musa staff of rulership was found over here on the island in Central America. That means that whoever inherited that staff is the rightful heir to rule over Ghana, but they didn't want to go back over there. This was heaven on earth, the Americas. This was the central hub for all knowledge, all conjures, right? We didn't believe in some of the dirt that these motherfuckers has been doing to us. It wasn't in our culture. Now it's a part of our culture because they brought it over here and used it on us. Now we got to use it back.
Right.
That's why we've been stopping the bloodletting, right? And they pulling all of the GMO foods off the shelves. This is why you got whole Walmarts with crime scene tape up while they taking the food out.
Is that why they're letting certain stuff like that shooting that just happened in Virginia, letting stuff like that happen or something as a cover up? Because they got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, so if you go look over the last 2 years, you had a ridiculous amount of fires at slaughterhouses.
Yeah, I remember.
Like that. That's what that is, getting rid of GMOs. They doing insurance scams so they don't take that loss. One of them had a fucking plane flying to the slaughterhouse. A little twin-engine Cessna flew into a slaughterhouse.
But then now you have different things that's going on. Now they want to stop natural herbalists for.
That's smoke and mirrors. That's to trigger the people that's into homeopathy and naturopathic medicine to get their ass in this fucking fight. Inform the people of what these motherfuckers is doing and stand firm on your position as a healer. If they don't do that, they're going to lose their rights to be a healer because they're not participating and telling the people that don't let the motherfuckers do that. It's just it's an antagonism to call to action.
Okay. Yeah, no, I get that because I was telling my homegirl too, they can't just do that. How you gonna stop people from selling herbs and stuff? They grow in nature.
They can do it if we let them.
Right. That's the thing, but yeah. Okay, yeah, if we let them. And I get that part too. That's what I've actually been.
But as of right now, any legislation going on is fraud, is fake news.
Yeah.
The Senate and the Congress is closed. The White House is fucking closed. The Federal Reserve is fucking closed. All that shit closed.
Now, okay, so I remember you saying that before. I remember that. Now, okay.
The fall of America has come. Babylon fell in y'all face and y'all wasn't even watching. So they running the narrative to challenge. Right? They running a narrative to challenge ideology. Every ideology has to be tested. And if we don't realize that we the ones in the position of power now, then they can't give us the power.
I feel like a lot of us are waking up no matter what level people own, but it's like a mass majority of
Mm,
our people waking up, like just waking up in general. And I be feeling like, okay, a lot of things be um like so we see what the people, we see what they into, like the algorithms and stuff like that. So then let's start doing this or let's start doing that. Like that's
mhm.
not, no, that ain't gonna work either.
Yeah,
Just because I remember like just this summer, you got a lot of readers and stuff, a lot of diviners, the women, divining and stuff like that. Then now for what was it? What was that going on? I think it was around Juneteenth. And now McDonald's offering here in Georgia, McDonald's offering readings, tarot readings.
hmm.
Like, come on
So
now.
everything they doing now is geared toward trying to wake up a cross section of the community that hasn't been reached. A lot of the people that's fast food practitioners that go on a regular basis, they live off fast food. They
Mhm.
got a fast food mentality and think that everything's supposed to happen instant. Throw that
Yeah.
shit in the microwave for 30 seconds.
I had an older friend that used to call this the microwavable generation.
Yeah, this is
He
instant
was right
gratification.
though.
Instant gratification. Everybody want it right now. They can't stand to wait. They can't stand to go through the pains of like the shit that I've been doing for the last 3 years. Before they sent me to do this, I told my mama and the old lady, I was like, fuck them niggas. They like this oppression shit. I don't want to be subject to the ridicule with telling them the truth, because most of these motherfuckers would rather be comfortable in the lie and go along to get along than be waking up by the truth. Nigga, why you disturbing my peaceful
It's so
sleep? I
unfortunate
was being
too.
good for massa. So I
From
didn't
a
want to.
feminine standpoint, it's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate, but it's like I understand that too, because sometimes it just get to a point like, I mean, it's like the saying, you can't put a gun to somebody's head and make them take the information.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. So I
And
didn't want to go through this because look, literally, I done been on here with Moors coming in hostile, but they leave with a different mindset just by going over the information. What do we already know? We don't need no outside information. This is
right,
what we already know,
right.
right? They came, they gave us the Bible and everything associated with it. Before they came, we didn't associate with nothing that's biblical. Now
And
we're
now we
going to
know
be
who they
everything.
are.
Yeah. And now we want to be everybody in the Bible. We want to be the Hebrews. We want to be the Moabites. We want to be the Canaanites.
The
Them
Hebrews
motherfuckers
is
ain't
the
got nothing to do
biggest
with them.
one. That's where I kind of started my journey, from the Hebrews. And then I just kind of ventured over to esoteric knowledge, and then, ATRs. But yeah, the Hebrews is something.
Look, them niggas funny to me. They believe that they can tell you that they organic to this land, but they Hebrews. Hebrews being the ones that crossed over. That mean they crossed over from somewhere else to get here. That mean they don't belong.
They go off the
So pack y'all
narrative of the
motherfucking shit.
slave ship.
Yeah.
Like they came over here
Yeah.
by,
Pack
so
your
it's like
shit.
that's why we here. But okay.
Pack your
But I
shit
don't,
and go back to the Middle East since you're a Hebrew. You ain't got to stay here. Pack your
it's
shit.
been few that call themselves going back and was
They
like,
can
oh
stay.
no, this is not
Like,
what we thought
I know
this
you talking
was.
about like Ben Ami Carter.
Hmm.
Ben Ami took a whole community over there. None of us know about Operation Exodus ran by the Mossad in the early 80s, where they airlifted thousands of falashas from Ethiopia to legitimize the state of Israel, because they know the real so-called Hebrews is falashas in Africa.
Right.
So they had a whole thing under the silence. The Mossad done it. The Mossad is Israeli Secret Service. Operation Exodus. Remember Marley was singing Exodus,
Hmm.
movement of your people. This is what he talking about. They was moving the motherfuckers right after that song came out from 77 to 83. You got to remember, that Israel over there was mapped out by a guy named Ralph Bunch, bootlicking ass nigga. Went over there because they didn't know where they was from. They was going to originally set up Israel and Guyana. They was gonna set it up in Brazil. Then they
I
picked
didn't
a
know
couple
that.
of different islands, and they was like, "Nah, ain't none of that gonna work because ain't nobody gonna believe that shit." So, and the Balfour Declaration was the agreement to set up the Zionist state of Israel that's over there now, masquerading as an original government over there in a foreign land.
Mm, okay.
That shit don't got nothing to do with us. But we just want to take everybody else's burdens like they our own. That shit not our burden. That's not our cross to bear.
Yeah.
Our shit got to do with feathers, peace pipes, marijuana, peyote, and motherfucking dancing around the fire while the grid tell the stories by song. That's our shit.
Yeah.
Where the fuck they come from with this bop your head 5 times a day on the ground? You can't live your life like that.
The ladies on my mom's side, they are some storytellers.
Grits.
The women on my mom's side, they are some storytellers and tell a good story.
Yeah, those are grits. All right, sweetie, I'm going to take another caller. I want to see if I can get Paige Flowers in here if she's still watching.
All righty. Well, it was good talking to you.
You too, sweetie. Keep it up. Keep your head up.
I will. Thank you.
All right. How you doing?
Good, good.
I've been watching you kick ass.
Oh, listen. I'm over here eating my meal, listening to y'all. I'm like, yeah, this is the conversation our people need to hear. You know what I mean?
Look, it's imperative, and it's
yeah.
painful to hear